welcome back. So this is going to be episode 2 of the question and answer episodes. So we're going to run through a couple different questions. Will sent me over kind of the list that we picked out for this episode. So we're going to go over design conferences, speak a little bit about that stuff, more on the beginning of our careers. We'll talk a little bit about that, but then also refer to the fact that we need to do an episode that kind of highlights all the guys' careers and kind of how they got started. So that will be coming. Life-size Yeti for the studio. That's a good one. More info on the logo creation process. We're going to talk about illustration, techniques and tools we use, our thoughts on design school. So I have a lot of thoughts on that topic, so we'll speak to that. Logo Mayhem, illustration Mayhem, some of that stuff that's coming up, as well as how you should apply textures to your logo. Kind of give an example of a project we just wrapped up for Kubota. Yeah, so we cover a lot of different questions, a lot of different topics. So there's timestamps in the video, so you can kind of jump back and forth, listen to the questions you care about, delete the ones you don't. So check it out, hit that like button, and let us know what you think. All right, ready to roll?
Let's do it.
All right, let's jump into a couple questions here. So I'll take this first one. Dave Keller. There are conferences that you have to pay for, flights, hotels, and you get a tiny 15 to 20 minute walkthrough of a project like this from a stage. You guys are putting this out there for free, and I love it. Keep up the great work. I mean, we've done a bunch of the design conferences and spoke at those and things like that, and you pay a bunch of money to go there. At the same time, I feel like those things are worth it, because you do
networking.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Like you pay whatever, $300, $400, $500 to go, and it's usually a 2 or 3 day event. And it's usually not just, he's, like 15 to 20 minutes talking, but there's usually a bunch of different people, that represent different branding and illustration and from the industry. Mm-hmm. And we've met a ton of people who we still keep in contact with.
Totally.
To this day. Grizzly Wheeler up on the, on Instagram Live right now. He's a prime example.
Yeah, even for us being the ones talking, typically it's been great to meet Matt, Grizzly, Scotty, Perspective Collective, and all these people, and now it's just you got like a good online homie. You know what I mean? You like reach out to them and. But this is a good point he's making. I never thought of it like that, because we are doing these deep dives into these projects, which we do at these events.
True.
So it is a really cool feature. Just it's like, all right, here, we're just going to do it right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So hopefully people are stoked they're getting it, for free or whatever. Yeah.
Dave is.
Dave is. Yeah, exactly.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, which is rad. So no, it's cool. I hope people are getting value out of it, and it's one of those things we're doing it because we can't go to the shows, and trying to create this community on YouTube and stuff like that. So,
don't get it twisted. I want to go back to a conference so bad. You know what I mean? I want to go rub shoulders with Kendrick and your who's and, the conference is cool, but afterwards you usually go drink until midnight. And that's when you really get to know these people. You know what I mean? It's like
real networking.
Yeah, we got Grizzly over here, just, bump on the log. You got Scotty going crazy, you know what I mean? So it's like
rocking, yeah. You got David Carson like chilling, drinking.
Oh, yeah.
That was
I forgot about that.
Yeah, good times.
Awesome. Your legends, guys. Very inspiring. Keen for the next episodes. Would be curious to know more about the beginning of your career. Cheers.
So I was thinking about this one.
It's a good one.
Because there was another one that somebody asked something similar, and they're like, oh, we know Dan started, in the sign industry and then DC Shoes, but what about the other guys? I was like, that's a good one. It would be interesting to hear, the fact that you, which we've touched on a little bit, we're doing UX design,
right?
And then ended up working for us, and you and Damaso kind of came from the same area.
Yep.
I think a lot of people would be surprised, and then like Brandon, never had a job in the industry.
He was laying tile.
Yeah, laying tile. Hired him straight out of college, at his graduation day. So,
and he even went a little later to college. I don't think he graduated when he was 18. He was an adult.
Yep. Yeah.
There's like a full story for everybody.
Yeah, there's a lot of different directions that you guys have, came from to get to this point. So that would be a cool episode to do.
For sure.
Yeah, if anything, there's no traditional path. Everyone thinks, graduate college, then get hired at the dope spot where you could really do anything. I started in silkscreen setup. I was a color separator. Yep. So, you could really start anywhere. You really just need to know the program and be efficient and have good ideas, and you're going to be fine. Like, if you're a young kid, it's probably easy to think, oh, I need to go to art center or some, very expensive college. It's just how bad do you want it? If you want it that bad, you're going to do just fine. So put the work in, and it may not seem like you're going to make it, but if you can look back in hindsight, you're going to be just fine. You just got to put the work in.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sure you, Jordan, you probably put in tons of 12-hour days, 15-hour days in the very beginning, just trying to make it happen.
Right. Sometimes you go down the wrong path first, finding the thing you don't want to do. So like for me, for example, I got down into UX design and user experience design and designing interfaces, and it's like, oh, well, figured out that wasn't what I wanted to do. So you waste a little time learning, but in the end, it pays off because that's what you figure out. You find the right thing that you do like. So
I mean, it was great because you probably had 8 hours a day of Adobe time, which is really what you need. You just need to be in Adobe for 8 hours a day for a year or 5.
And even just being in the agency environment, getting to learn how deadlines work, working with clients. How
to take a critique. I mean, that's something that to me is a very junior designer. If you can't take a critique, it's like, oh, well, you haven't been beat down enough. Where it's like, boy, I've been, beat down every which way. So it doesn't matter. Like, we're going to change it. Cool. Let's change it,
Yeah.
So,
I mean, even to your point, Jordan, like Damaso and Brandon both have, bachelor's degree in animation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, when they were going to school, they had this vision of being animators,
Yep.
They're not doing that right now.
Well,
so
Damaso full circle moment kind of came back through and got to do some cool animation.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think he digs that. So
he was just an illustrator for a t-shirt company for so long.
Yeah.
Ends up getting hired with you, been with you for another 10 years, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, we want to do animation. And he's like, oh, I know how to do that. And it's like, well, what the hell? Let's go.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah. Yep. So
yeah, we should do a little segment, maybe like 15 minutes per person, give a little story of, I mean, because like I didn't go to college. I think Jordan went, Dan went, but there's just like Davey didn't go to college. There's no direct path, so
exactly.
You just got to really put that time and want it.
Yeah, we'll do that one for sure.
You guys should take your Bigfoot illustration and create a full-size 9-foot 3D sculpture for your studio design or your design studio.
So we got the little one.
I love that idea.
We got the little bobblehead. And then on the way to Mount Hood, I think last time on our way up there, we stopped and there's a guy who basically
carves them.
Yeah, life size out of wood. And he has a bunch of Yeti Sasquatch dudes there, and talk to him.
Yeah.
So I've thought about like
that.
having him basically replicate this dude, and he's standing out in the front yard.
I love it.
So yeah,
that would be sick.
I'm gonna take this idea and one up it, and I want Dan has a son that's like in 5th grade. We're gonna buy a Halloween costume of the Jack Lynx guy, and we're gonna have Dan's son run around with the Yeti costume on. Just for some weird points.
That'd be cool
content.
Yeah. So that's not outlandish. Something like that could happen.
I think the more outlandish, the better.
Right?
To me.
Yeah.
Okay, Jimmy Allen. Deep dive into the logo process would be sick. Great show.
It's tough because like there's so many different. There's no like process to making a logo. It's just like just fumbling around until it looks good. You're like, oh shit, time's running out. Oh no, what's gonna happen? And then all of a sudden, like, it looks great. So even if we recorded one, they all don't go like that.
Yeah. It could be like, hey, here's an example, and this is the client or whatever. And it would be cool to show from. It would have to be done different, where we'd have to, screen record some of it, show that process.
And I think some of what we're showing already, it's like, this is what we turned in first round. Maybe that wasn't enough of the process for people to see.
I think they want more of, before that all the way to the end,
They want those tricks.
Yeah. The tricks that,
or even
Dustin's not giving up the tricks.
I'm not giving them.
Explaining them the brief when a client, they come to us and they say, we want these things. And then we say, okay, guys, here we go. We're going to need 3 pieces. We're going to do it on black background. We're going to do this and that. Maybe it's like, we kind of like dive into that stuff a little more.
Which the Google episode, we had a couple comments that people were super hyped to see the brief. That we went through first,
Perfect.
Because that thing was a little different where they didn't totally know what they wanted,
and that really dictated the project because we would have probably not gone left. We were going to go right, and they're like, no, go left. So cool.
Yeah, so we could show a little bit more of that, kind of what that brief looks like, or what the client sent us before we got started. So,
and every process isn't the same. Every project isn't the same. You know, it could be different for the next one.
Yeah. Have a lot of respect for what you're
what you're staying true to your design aesthetic. Your work reminds me of the trailblazing work of the Duffy Design Group from Minneapolis. Yep, I know those guys. Great work. Did in the late 80s and 90s. Too many times I've watched small and large design studios sell out to the dollar and abandon their design principles. To put us in the conversation with Duffy, they're legendary. Mm-hmm. And they changed their name now. It's Duffy. It's not Duffy because it was Duffy Design Group. Now it's like if you were going to look for them online right now, it's
been a while since I have.
Yeah, it's like Duffy X or X Duffy, or it's a little different. But if you Google Duffy Design Minneapolis, you'll see their stuff. So yeah, I mean, we try and stick to our style and look and everything.
And even beyond the style and look, it's almost like the attitude or ethos behind it that will kind of always it could be a soft or a sharp piece, but it's going to always have a little bit of point of difference. That's us Lincoln.
Yeah.
And luckily we've kind of established a look that we get hired for now. So people come to us because they see what we've done in the past, and it's like, hey, how can we get some of that for our company? And we're like, well, hey, we can get down for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Came to the right place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Punkie, or just Punkie.
Yeah.
Okay. Love to know the process of the illustration work. Maybe like a speed drawing of the steps. Also, do you use Procreate, Adobe Fresco, iPad, or desktop? And where you get your mock-ups? Love the work, really. Great on the background. Really great on the backgrounds of the inside of the box. I'd love to see that up close.
I mean, I'm noticing a big pattern of everyone wanting to see process, That's like what they all are. So we need to make that happen. We need to make that Lincoln College, that Lincoln schooling vibe and put something out because, everyone's asking for it. Yeah. I think Will's been asking for it too. So we got to make that happen.
Right.
Most of us don't use Adobe Fresco.
What is that?
It's a painting.
Oh, it's like their version of Procreate?
It's like Adobe's like super realistic painting looking kind of thing. Like Fresco is a style of painting. So I think like that's why they named it that. But it's like super wet looking paint, on there. But yeah, we're Procreate, we're Photoshop, we're Illustrator. Damaso uses
Clip Studio Pro. But yeah, Procreate's fun. Like, that's a good one. But you're gonna be Illustrator, Photoshop. That's the industry standard. If you're full Procreate and don't know Adobe that well, it's going to be a little challenging, to go to a studio and work in-house because someone's going to ask you for the AI file and you're going to have, a JPEG, a TIFF, or a PSD, and that's not going to cut it.
And there might be some, I would say there's probably some younger designers out there, that are doing stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
where they're just using Procreate on an iPad.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were to get hired here, it'd be like, oh shit, no man, not happening.
Good start, but now you got to do the rest.
So yeah, definitely you need to know Illustrator and Photoshop, like guaranteed.
And then if I'm going to push it one step further, and InDesign, it's not my personal favorite, but you got to know how to operate InDesign because
you want to be a designer, not an illustrator. Like you need to be able to move around in InDesign a little bit.
Totally.
You don't need to create a 200-page catalog, but
right. I'm not sure what she's talking about for the mock-ups.
Yeah, I don't either.
I mean, we kind of make our mock-ups
for the packaging, maybe?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, for the
like
most
the
part,
Eilish stuff or something. Some of them we get 3D rendered, and then like after we do the designs flat in a die line, we get the opportunity to work with people that have fully rendered it out and give us a 3D model back. And
which I think that's probably what she's talking about for the Billie Eilish.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as far as apparel though, we'll definitely make our own mock-ups. Get a good shirt, pull the black. Then you could change the color. And still use the same template and just change it and it looks real. Put the art under the texture so it looks like it's actually printed. Same thing with the hats and backpacks and shit. We've even done full bedrooms in the past, which is not the most fun, but you got to do it.
A little gnarly. This one you, Dusty?
All right, Carlos. Let me Carlos, great stuff. I wish more design schools really focus more on packaging design and branding and all these little tricks to help artists become better graphic designers. So it is really refreshing showing your guys' process and projects. Always loved your guys' work. I took a couple community college courses and I wanted to know all the tips and tricks too, but they never really got into that as much as it was about fundamentals and concepts and that. But I'm like, but how do I, what's the blend tool? How do I work that? So I feel like they do need to have some technical courses, which maybe they have now, but that gets into what kind of Skillshare does nowadays. You know what I mean? It's like, here's how you do a quick drop shadow. Here's how you do a...
I was lucky enough to see both sides of it, because I went to the tech program first, where they literally only teach you tools of the programs and not anything about concept or creating art or anything, you know. And then I was able to go to the fine art school afterwards and then apply all the things that I learned into making better designs. So it's like, if you just go seek out the technical side of things first without trying to, get too conceptual or make out the best art or whatever it is, I feel like you can learn quicker just kind of plowing through stuff and making things.
For sure. Yeah. Because most likely a lot of schools are not going to dive super deep into Illustrator or Photoshop. They're going, hey, here's your project, create a branding for this new restaurant.
Exactly.
Start.
So.
I mean, to me, YouTube is a great place for that. That was my college. Get on there and type in, how to X, and then you're going to find all these videos, watch 3 or 4 of them. You're going to figure it out. Linda. I was just going to say Linda was a great one. Check out Linda. You got to pay for it, but you might be able to find the bootleg out there. So check out Linda.
Yep. All right. So Dennis W. Thanks for this, guys. As a starting designer, this helps me out a bunch. But should I or should I not buy your Logo Mayhem book now, since there's a chance I'd be looking like you guys? Definitely buy the book. No, but
buy 2.
Yeah. Buy 2 books in case one gets dirty. No, the whole point of, like, say, the Logo Mayhem book or any design book, if you talk to 100 designers, probably 90 of them have a pretty decent book collection, of logo books and design and illustration and stuff like that. The idea is just to spark, it's inspiration, so it's definitely not to copy or for, you to get the Logo Mayhem book and for your stuff to start looking like ours. It's more of like, hey, just, spark an idea, get your creative juices going that day, as you flip through the book.
I mean, you could see something and be like, oh, a triangle. I was working on a badge that had a square. I need to do a triangle. It's not like, oh, how the triangle interacted with this illustration or anything like that. But just a little kick in the pants,
Yeah, I would suggest, buying as young designers, definitely have a couple books on your bookshelf, that you go to.
There's only so much Google Images is going to show you.
Yeah, and then Pinterest and that stuff, like, it's the same shit over and over.
And you're going to see a lot of people on Instagram, referencing those pieces. So it's like, you just want to have good, fresh reference instead of like the same old copied reference that everyone sees,
You could be feeling stale, working on a concept for like an hour or something, and then you go flip through the book just like 3 pages or 4 pages, and you're like, oh yeah, now I'm inspired to go do something better or whatever,
Yeah.
Another good one actually is that website. Logolounge.com is a good one. It's maybe $100-ish a year.
It's $100 a year. And they kind of, you're like, oh shoot, but
yeah, it's good though. I mean, it has so many different references that aren't on Google that you can search, let's say, just D, and it's going to show you tons of different Ds of how, you're like, oh, I could do a bowel like that. I didn't, don't copy that piece, but it's almost like copy the mindset that the designer had when they were making it.
Yeah, it's the only really good place to like micro search like logo, like ant or whatever. It's going to show you like logos that had an ant in it, like random shit. Like,
and sometimes it's good to just see what's been done so you don't do it. It's like, oh, that concept's already been executed. That one's executed. I better do something over here so I'm not copying these guys.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, you could end up making something and loving it, and then it's like, oh, whoever Draplin did this exact idea, and you're like, well, I can't do it now. So
exactly.
Clay Willis, I think everyone can agree we would love classes and seeing your process. I personally would love to see how you apply textures to your logos and how to vectorize it into a finalized version.
Back to the process and
all right, so I'm gonna say never have texture on your logo. I mean, there's probably going to be cases where the logo is shown on a t-shirt with texture, and there, rules are also meant to be broken, but I would say no texture on your logo. But yeah, as far as textures in Illustrator, it sucks. It slows your machine down. The shit's about to crash, especially if you're going to punch out the texture in the item. Do that and then go grab lunch because it's going to be spinning for a while. But Jordan actually has some great vector textures that we try to utilize because texture in Illustrator is the worst.
Yeah, I'd love to show at some point. So we just did a project recently for Kubota tractors, and we did this Kubota Country badge, and it was done clean, nice clean vector badge. Well, the whole point behind like Kubota countries is kind of like this old school look to it, kind of weathered boards and dirt and stuff like that. So they're like, hey, badge is approved. It looks amazing, but we want texture added to it because the whole Kubota line has this texture. So I sent it to you, and you basically created this vector textured logo that turned out great. But it's more than just the vector and then throwing a texture on top, because then it doesn't look right. It looks like it's just, you just got this thing sitting on top of it.
It's a little lazy.
Yeah, where you can do the outline, the text, and there's different layers of the texture. There's white and there's black, so.
I mean, it's easy to make texture in Photoshop, but to do a good texture in Illustrator, that's challenging.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, and you did that one, which looks great. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. I mean, I've kind of just figured out over the years, like little cheats and techniques to kind of like finesse it, and because there's a lot of times where it comes up just in things like that. It's like, oh, we had this graphic, but we want the busted version or whatever, and you're like, okay.
But at the same time, you almost don't start with that textured logo.
Oh, no way.
Because like this Kubota one, we have the badge and we have the textured badge, which is great. They love the textured one and they're starting to use it. But they just came back to us with this, hey, we want a neon sign of that badge.
Yeah.
Imagine if we only had the textured version.
Not going to work.
Yeah, not going to work. So we were able to go back, grab the clean version and start building the neon out of it, so.
I mean, something I like to do is grab the clean one and draw over the top of it with my Wacom or Procreate. So it gives it like a little hand-done feel, and then hit it with the vector texture, because it's just going to make it a little different. It may take you an hour and maybe no one else will know the difference, but it's like, no, all the corners are a little rounded, it gives it that hand feel vibe. Wow, how long does it normally take to do a package of patterns? Well, so Jordan's the in-house pattern god. I put my hand at it. I'm actually doing some right now, and it's taking much longer than I anticipated. I should have had 3. I'm at 2.5, and showing Jordan, and like, let me get some feedback. How do I take it from here? But it takes a little longer than you'd think. So I'd say start off in that swatch maker, and it's gonna help be final whenever you're done.
I would say it totally depends on the pattern, first of all, the style of what you're going for, and also if you have any assets that you can use in that, like if you have logos or any badges or any things, graphics that would fit into that, instead of just making every piece that goes into the pattern from scratch, which is going to definitely take you longer. So
great point. Yeah, use the assets you have so you're not like totally reinventing the wheel.
Yep.
Yeah, we're fortunate enough with like a lot of the patterns. Like Dustin's working on Do Tour, so he has some illustrations from Brandon and some pieces he had created for that is used in the branding. So there's like these little pieces to start with. You're not starting from a blank canvas going, oh shit, what is this going to look like? So you have to have a starting point almost.
Yeah,
and it all ties it together. The story's told, and see all the pieces.
And then maybe you change the colors up, so it's like whatever the logo is, you use the logo, but just in a different color way or format, and it's gonna hopefully make it look different and fresh.
Yeah.
One thing we do a lot is like the sticker bomb style, and a little trick or tip is like inversing the art if it works and adding like a stroked outline to it, and then so you have 2 of the exact same piece but they're just flip-flopped, and then you can use that to help make more space, or then take that same thing and scale it halfway down, so then you have some that are big and then some that are small to give a little variety, and that just helps eat up space quick.
Yeah. And if you have that stroke on there, they sit on top of each other better.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good cheat code.
Yep, for sure.